Hey, welcome to episode number 5 of Year of the Wager, the 2023 version. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about mixed games. You all know I like mixed games a lot. I pretty much like any poker game that's not Texas Hold'em. I just kind of got bored with it because I played it so much over the years. Mixed games is what I primarily play now, and in today's episode, I'm going to be playing various forms of mixed games that we're going to talk about. I don't have a lot of footage on this episode because of just the way things worked out, but I did want to talk to you about the evolution of the mixed games and how crazy some of the games in the mix are now. It's almost impossible to be good at all of them, and I'm actually not that good at all of them, but the variations are just unbelievable, and that's what we're going to go over here today. So I hope you like the episode. All right, so the first game we're going to talk about is just plain old deuce to 7 triple draw. Many people are probably familiar with that. It's a 5-card draw game where you get 3 chances to replace your cards and make a good poker hand. In this case, a good poker hand is the absolute worst poker hand you can have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I'll actually put another video on the channel that goes into how to play deuce to 7 and the strategy behind it. I am very comfortable playing deuce to 7, and it's one of my more favorite games in the mix. One of my favorite tournaments to play is the triple draw tournament that has Baduki, ace to 5, and deuce to 7. So this is one of my more favorite games. So I won't go into too much details, but it is one of the essential games and normally in any type of poker mixed game format. After deuce to 7, you need to know how to play Badugi. So Badugi is the only actually non-poker game because it doesn't have 5 cards that make up your hand. It's only 4 cards that you get dealt. And a Badugi is when you have 4 different suits. So you have a diamond, heart, spade, and club in your hand, and you do not pair. That is a Badugi. And the nuts is ace 2, 3, 4. Again, I will put a video on the channel that explains how to play it with some good strategy and whatnot. It's another one of my favorite games. I really like the triple draw games. And that is also an essential that you need to know if you're going to play in the mixed game scenario in Las Vegas or anywhere else. So now that you know how to play deuce to 7 and Badugi, you're going to get all types of variations on other poker games. And one of them is deuce to 7 Dramaha, which is crazy in and of itself. So let's talk about what Dramaha is. Dramaha is a split pot game where you are playing between the best Omaha hand and the best whatever the other variation that's been identified. So if you're playing deuce to 7 Dramaha, it's the best deuce to 7 hand that's in your hand because you're dealt 5 cards, and the best Omaha hand that's on the board because there'll be 5 community cards on the board. It gets very confusing sometimes because you're trying to figure out which one are you going for. Are you going for the best deuce to 7 hand, or are you going for the best Omaha hand? Which deuce to 7 normally, since it's a low ball game and Omaha is a high game, normally they're not going to be the same cards. But hopefully you can figure a way to scoop the pot with some straights or flushes or things of that nature. And so that is one of the first variations that takes place in the mixed game. It's not a favorite of mine at all. I don't play it that well. So I do have to get better at it if I'm going to keep playing the cash games in Las Vegas that have it incorporated in there. Another game would be deuce to 7 Raz Deucey 3 cards down. So now we're really starting to get crazy, as you can see. Deuce to 7, Raz Deucey, 3 cards down. So what that means is you are playing a version of Raz, which is a stud game. If you don't know how to play stud, normally you're dealt 2 cards down, 4 cards up, 1 card down on the river. The best 5 cards makes your hand. And if you're playing Raz, you want the 5 lowest cards. So ace 2, 3, 4, 5 normally. But if you're playing deuce to 7 Raz, now you don't want the ace because the ace is high. So now you want 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 to be your low hand. So you're playing it in a stud format, which is the Raz part. So that's the Raz and the Raz Deucey. But then you're playing, in other words, Badusi for the second half, which is going to mean that you're playing a split between a Badugi hand, so 4 cards of different suits, and a deuce to 7 hand. So the best Badoogie hand and the best deuce to 7 hand in a stud format. If you're lost, don't worry. Most people are when they first start playing it. But then they're putting another variation where you get dealt 3 cards down instead of 1, and you get to throw 1 away. So I can't even really tell you what the math on this is. I don't know if a supercomputer can figure it out and tell you what the math on it is. But it starts to get, and that's not even the more complicated of the games, right? So again, you're playing in a stud format. You're playing the lowest cards, Badoogie and deuce to 7, with 3 cards down, and you throw 1 away before you get 4th Street. So that's one of the games in the mix that you have to learn how to master. Okay, so another game you have to know how to master is Badacy, which is often going to be in the mix. It's a split between ace to 5 triple draw and Badoogie triple draw. So the best Badoogie hand gets half the pot, and the best ace to 5 hand gets half the pot. Ace to 5 is one of the older forms of lowball draw poker, and it's very similar to deuce to 7, with the exception that the ace is now low and not high, and straights and flushes don't hurt you. So it's a simpler version of deuce to 7 that they really don't play that much anymore, unless it's in this type of format where you are splitting the pot. I tend not to like split pot games because unless you have a 3rd or 4th person in the hand with you, then there's not going to be a lot of money that you're splitting between you and the other player, which is why the object is always to scoop the pot, but sometimes that's just hard to do unless you have a monster hand like ace 2 3 4 5 with a Badoogie in it. Other than that, you're normally going to be chopping in some form or fashion. So now we got Drama Hall 49. This is when I really think that they just started, maybe doing some psychedelic drugs or something like that.
I am not drunk.
Can you tell the time?
Yes. I am not drunk.
When they started coming up with the rules, every time I hear Drama Hall 49, I think about Peyton Manning, under quarterback going, Omaha, Omaha 49, Omaha 47.
Touchdown passes, being Thomas, most of it being Thomas.
Whatever. I don't really like this game again. I'm not a Drama Hall fan. Way you play this game, and I might not even be getting all the rules in this right, which is why, I'm not really winning at some of the mixed cash games. But the way you play Drama Hall 49 is you're dealt 5 cards again. And when you use the term Drama Hall, what you mean is you're going to always be playing Omaha on the board. So you're going to have 5 cards down on the community flop, and you have to make your best Omaha hand using 2 cards that you're holding. Then it's like, what is the other half that you're playing? Because you get to replace cards, which is the draw part of Drama Hall, after the flop. You get to throw away up to 3 cards and replace them to make either a better Omaha hand on the board or a better draw hand that you're holding. In Drama Hall 49, the cards have points, and you're trying to add up to 49 points. The person who is closest to 49 points wins. And the way if I remember it correctly, you are going to, all of the cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., are all worth the amount of points that they have on them. The next game is 5-card Omaha 8 or better, otherwise known as Big O. And basically you are going to be playing with 5 cards in your hand. You're going to be playing for the best Omaha high hand and Omaha low hand, similarly to just Omaha 8 or better that you play in the horse mix. But with Big O, you have 5 cards in your hand, which makes a big difference. That 5th card really switches up the variability a lot. And so that's a little bit more straightforward. You are trying to, both hands are made on the board. Nothing is in your hand. So you have to use 2 cards from your hand to make your low and 2 cards from your hand to make your high. You obviously want to start off with hands like ace, ace, 2, 3, 4, double suited, or maybe ace, ace, king, 2-3, double suited. But those are the types of hands you want to have. Again, Omaha is not PLO. I'm pretty decent at, but Big O, I wouldn't say I'm the best at. And yet, these are the types of games that are in the mix that you're going to have to be good at playing if you want to regularly play in mixed games. One of the games is Dramaha High Doogie. I think this is the game that I think makes no sense because it doesn't actually follow the logic of poker. And so we're not even going to discuss it. And when I play it, I almost always lose. So just letting you know that it's the type of games that are in the mix. 7-card stud, 8 or better, 3 cards down is just what it sounds like. You're going to be playing 7-card stud, 8 or better. So the best high hand and low hand in a stud format, except you're going to be dealt 3 cards down, which means you have to throw one of the cards away before 4th Street is dealt. Badusi Deuce to 7, similar to Badasi, except you are now doing a triple draw game in which you are trying to make the best Deuce to 7 hand and the best Badugi hand, all the cards being held by just you, no community cards. Crazy Pineapple. So a lot of people don't play Crazy Pineapple anymore. I actually played the Crazy Pineapple tournament earlier in this year of the wager. I happen to like Crazy Pineapple because it puts a little bit of a spin on Hold'em that to me makes the game fun again. You can play Pineapple or you can play Crazy Pineapple. In this mix, it's Crazy Pineapple high-low 8 or better, which makes it even crazier because you're now playing for the best high hand or low hand with an 8 qualifier, meaning to make a low, you have to have lower than an 8 in your hand. With Crazy Pineapple, you're dealt 3 cards down. So instead of 2 cards down like Hold'em, you're dealt 3 cards. And after the flop, you have to discard 1. In Pineapple, you discard before the flop. In Crazy Pineapple, you discard after the flop. I like it. It's normally not in a lot of the mixed games though. Badugi High-Low is again another one of the games in the mix that I don't actually understand the rules that well. So I try to avoid it whenever possible. But sometimes you just can't. And you pray for half the pot because I obviously know how to play Badugi low, but Badugi high is a little bit more confusing to me. Archie has become a lot more popular in recent years, and it is basically 5-card draw. So the type they used to play in the Western movies, except you have a split between a high and a low hand, except the qualifiers are different than your normal 8 or better scenario. You have to qualify on both sides. You have to qualify for the hand, you have to qualify for the high hand, which is normally 9s or better, a pair of 9s or better. So if you don't have at least a pair of 9s, you can't get the high hand, but you also have to qualify for the low, which means you have to be less than an 8. In some scenarios, I've actually played in hands where people didn't qualify for either one, and then you just end up chopping the pot at the end with the number of players that are remaining. Dramaha High is the same as all the other Dramahas, except you want your best 5-card poker hand in your hand that you're holding, and then a normal Omaha High hand on using the community cards. Then you have Omaha Best, which means you're going to be playing 5-card double board Omaha. Yes, it's getting even crazier. 5-card double board Omaha, where you got 5 cards running it. So it's like running it twice. So you have 5-card community cards on the top, 5 community cards on the bottom. And in best, it means that you actually have to have the best hand on each board. So whatever the best high hand is on each board is the winner. So as you can tell, there are tons of crazy games in the mix that I play at Resorts World. I actually am trying to find a more regular game that doesn't have so many variations in it, but being from Atlanta, I pretty much got to go where the action is, which is normally Las Vegas during the World Series of Poker. So if anyone knows of a great mixed game that I can get into that doesn't have 27,000 different variations, please let me know in the comments. Let's talk about how I did. I did pretty awful. So as we know from the last episode, my starting balance was $6,579. And we played the 8-16 mix at Resorts World in this episode, and I lost $340. So that's not good. Then I went and played the Deuce to 7 triple draw tournament at the MGM and had a good run, but ultimately did not make the money. So I lost $500. And so then I decided to chase my losses, which is never a good thing. And I played the 2040 mixed game at the WSOP and lost $1,500. So I don't know, at the rate that we're going right now, the year of the wager might only last 2 or 3 weeks. So let's hope I can turn it around. I'm definitely feeling a lot of doubt in this experiment and whether or not I have what it takes to be good at this. And so gonna have to figure something out if we're gonna keep it going. My new balance is $4,239, and we'll see if I can turn it around in the next video. If you liked it, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, tell everybody you know so we can get some more people watching the channel and see if I can actually hit the goal of winning $1 million in Year of the Wager.